Hey everyone, welcome to Mountain Beast Mysteries. Sorry I haven't made a video in a little while. I've been working hard at getting Expedition Sasquatch 4 edited. The good news is it's going to be out tomorrow. That is Monday, the 16th of August. The video will be live in the evening, and I hope you guys enjoy it. It was a really great time going out into the Nordic area, filming it, and it's one of my, I think, favorite pieces of work that I've done so far. So look forward to that, and make sure you check in tomorrow to give it a watch. But anyways, in today's video, I wanted to talk about two really interesting reports that I came across that both take place in the 1970s in Josephine County, Oregon. This first encounter I'm going to talk about involves some swimmers who were out at a lake in the wilderness, and they encountered one of these Bigfoot creatures that was, seemingly spying on them. So let's get into this one right here. It says, in 1975, I lived on Coyote Creek Road in Wolf Creek, Oregon, and used to spend summer days at a popular isolated swimming hole about 12 miles out a dirt road that ran between Wolf Creek and the Rogue River. We called it the Jesus Saves swimming hole after some graffiti sprayed on the rocks. In midsummer, I was there with a friend. We were the only people in sight. I was washing my hair in the creek and looked up between my legs and saw a head peeking over a fallen log about 60 feet up the hill behind me, slightly to my left. Though I spent much time alone in the woods, this felt really creepy to me. My first reaction was to stand up and yell, thinking a peeping Tom was sneaking up to take a peek, as this was a skinny dipping hole and my friend and I were following that fine tradition. As I stood and turned quickly, the head slunk down to disappear behind the log. Instantly, I had these simultaneous impressions. This large round head with brownish hair, the features were indistinct due to the angle of the sun, moved like an animal, not human. The hair was standing up on the back of my neck, and I felt panic along with the need to flee. Within seconds, I told my friend something was stalking us and we needed to leave now, and I looked back to the log. 25 feet beyond the log was a clump of scrub oak. I clearly saw the head, shoulder, arm, and upper torso of a very tall creature standing upright and kind of melting back into the trees. This was not a bear. It was not a human. It was brownish and hair covered. Within 90 seconds, my friend and I swam across the creek and climbed the rocks below the trail. Feeling less frightened, I stopped and together we searched the hillside across the creek. We saw absolutely nothing. During the early 70s, I had 3 other encounters in the Wolf Creek area where I heard something inexplicable and had the same sensation of panic and hair actually raising on the back of my neck. This story describes my only visual experience. In those days, many folks lived in an isolated lifestyle far back in the mountains. I heard many stories from solid people about encounters with what they believed to be Bigfoot. So a very cool, interesting encounter. This is a classic, Bigfoot encounter in the sense that, this is usually how these encounters occur. People are out in the wilderness minding their own business and they'll see something watching them or observing them from a distance. And, usually within a range that they can kind of tell that it's not a bear or anything usual, and they can tell that it is something unusual. But, they still don't get a very clear sight. That seems to be the case with this story. Also, the witness describes, having an intense fear and feeling the need to flee. So I wonder if this is like one of those cases of zapping that you hear all the time where you'll instantly feel this, feeling of sheer terror and the need to get out of the area no matter what, like a complete panic state. But, as the encounter continued, that feeling kind of fizzled away. But a very cool, interesting old encounter. The other one I want to talk about happened to a couple campers in 1978. Like I said before, in Josephine County, Oregon, the same county as in the last story. This one's a bit shorter. It was in Cave Junction, Oregon in the late 1970s. My family was visiting my grandparents who lived there at the time. My family, dad, mom, two sisters, and brother, were sleeping in a tent trailer. My sister and I slept on the side that overhangs the trailer hitch. When early one morning, the two of us were awakened to something scratching the bottom of our bed. Then it was scratching the tent part above us. Then the three sides of our bed. Neither of us said a word, but it moved quietly to the zipper where the window was. We slowly unzipped it and were instantly assaulted with an awful smell. We saw dark brown fur up against the mesh, and the scratching was once again above us. We quietly got out of bed and woke my parents, but by the time we got them up and they went outside, it was gone. We figured that the movement of the trailer scared whatever it was off. We were positive it was Bigfoot. The trailer was parked on the pavements. There was no way to know if there was footprints anywhere. My parents and grandparents never spoke of whatever they found or didn't find that day. Okay, so this was a very brief report, but very terrifying. And you have a creature coming up to this tent with these two children in it, and basically, terrorizing them, not in like a violent sense, but in a very creepy sense. Like, this thing is scratching at the tent and scratching on the sides of the tent and the sides of their bed. And that's weird. And this story actually kind of reminded me of an experience I had as a little kid. I specifically remember going camping with my parents and my sister at a very young age. It was in Alberta. Have no idea where. I can't remember at all. This was a very long time ago. But I remember in the middle of the night waking up and looking at the tent, and then there was moonlight outside, and what I could see was what looked like a hand and a set of claws scratch at the tent. I remember seeing like the silhouette of this clawed hand scratch along the top of the tent. It didn't like cut through or anything, but I remember seeing that, and I kind of had this like idea in my head that it was my dad, maybe playing a trick on us, or at least trying to, but I don't remember 100% if he was outside at that hour, or if he was in the tent with us. I do, however, remember specifically on that camping trip, I definitely peed inside my sleeping bag as a child. And there's no shame in that when you experience something like that. So anyways, this encounter really reminded me of that story, and seems like this Josephine County area in Oregon is a major Bigfoot hotspot. And you would assume that with pretty much any wooded area or forested area in Oregon and along the west coast of the United States and Canada. So the Pacific Northwest, it's where Bigfoot has always been said to exist, and that's where the majority, like the vast majority of reports come from. But anyways, that's all I have for you guys for this video. Remember tomorrow to watch Expedition Sasquatch 4. It's going to be out on the YouTube channel for free, and I hope you guys enjoy it. Thanks for watching this video. We'll see you next time on Mountain Beast Mysteries.